When you expose your API through Apigee, you're really creating a new API that acts as a facade or proxy for your existing API. Rather than calling your existing API directly, developers begin calling the new API generated by Apigee. This decouples your public interface from your backend API, shielding developers from backend changes and giving you powerful control over how people use your service. First, we'll add an API. First thing we do is to give it a name. In this case, we'll use Yahoo Weather, so let's call it Yahoo Weather. When you add an API, you define the root URL. Because the API runs on Apigee, a domain is generated for you, which always follows the same pattern. Your organization name, dash, environment.apigee.net. By default, an organization is provisioned with two environments, named test and prod. Later, these default domains can be mapped to any domain name you choose. Apigee support can help you through this. The rest of the facade URL enables you to segment your API. I want to use versions to give me flexibility going forward, so I'll put a v1. And because I plan to expose several kinds of services, I'm going to carve out a path just for weather. Now I need to point my weather path at the back end. Since I'm using Yahoo Weather, I'll point to their URL. Adding API resources is optional, but it can give you better control over how you route and manipulate requests to your API. It will also help you apply policies and scripted behaviors to individual resource paths and to organize metrics for analytics. Resources can be used to control access to specific assets or objects in your API. If you disable a resource, you are effectively blocking all the apps that can call that resource from accessing an asset. You might want to do this if you need to disable a resource that's causing issues or is no longer supported. To add a resource, choose a specific verb or all verbs. Then add a path that identifies that resource. To help others understand what this resource is, you can give it a display name and a description. You can continue to add as many resources as you like. When finished, save your work, and you can begin sending traffic through your Apigee proxy.